This week's episode of the award-winning Here For It podcast is brought to you by Olivia Pope. Olivia Pope is the only person that could have gotten Jussie Smollett out of this bullshit the way that Jussie Smollett has gotten out of this bullshit.
Hashtag escape.
And not Escape 3, the original Escape. The way that this shit was handled in the dead of night, and all of the charges were dropped this morning. All of them, not one.
They had an emergency meeting this morning. I was like, girl, I done barely did my morning reports.
Only Olivia Pope could have gotten the sex tape, the picture, and the old tweets of somebody to blackmail them into dropping all of these charges the way that they were dropped.
Pope and Associates.
And so Pope and Associates worked that the fuck out. I still am a little ambiguous about what really happened. Because I'm not sure what the fuck Jussie is saying or doing. But you know who I'm not ambiguous about? The Chicago police.
CPD.
Their story has been the same. And it has been the same as it was when Fred Hampton was assassinated. I talked about that a few episodes ago as well. So when Fred Hampton was assassinated, the Chicago police kept their story the same. The FBI kept their story the same. The FBI director kept their story the same. The state's attorney kept their story the same. And all of them had a piece in the game of getting Fred Hampton assassinated. If you don't know what I'm talking about, do your Googles, do your research. It's out there. He was a Black Panther, famous Black Panther, that was rising in the ranks. And his death has been really attributed to a lot of the turmoil that Chicago is still going through today. So it's hilarious to me when conservatives point to Chicago as this mecca of destruction and chaos and the ghetto, and black people are killing each other, and then miss the point of view, assassinated one of Chicago's greatest leaders in Fred Hampton at a transformational time for Chicago. So there's that. Thank you, Olivia Pope.
My name is Ronald Matters. Follow me on the internet at Ronald Matters, and of course, RonaldMatters.com.
I am the Superman, TheSupaman, aka the Spicy Super Saiyan, BKA a crazy broke Dominican.
Yeah. Woo.
And this is Here For a podcast.
Something to prove. It ain't nothing to argue. Child, y'all got me out here. I sit next to him every week. What's going on?
Well, at least you can sit here.
Eee.
Some girls can't sit here.
Well, shout out to my last call last week where I'm just still receiving my flowers.
Work. Our icebreaker this week is, have you ever cried during sex? So I listened to an episode of Eat, Pray, Thought, which is a great podcast, basically a sister podcast. They cover a lot of the same type of things that we cover. And there was an episode where they talked about crying during sex. And I was like, I ain't never cried during sex. Am I doing this shit wrong? I've done sex a lot of different ways. With in
a lot of different countries.
In a lot of different countries and a lot of different states. With just a few selected people.
Shout out to Eat, Pray, Thought podcast.
Yeah. But in all the ways that I've done sex, I have never cried during sex. Have you ever cried during sex?
Okay, so the answer is no. But do I confess with my real tears, or do I keep my business to myself? I'll follow your direction.
Our listeners would like the real tea. I don't think that they want a political answer.
So when it gets really good, I say thank you during sex. It's very...
Is it thank you or thank you?
Not Tatiana from Drag Race. It's very... I'm so appreciative of this moment to be here with you right now. And this stroke, that game that I'm receiving right now, I don't want you to leave this space and not know that I appreciate the work that's being put into this. Because one, I had to put in some work as well because I prepared correctly. So I have a habit of thanking him during the session.
Is it like Dr. Heavenly Style? Like, thank you, Daddy.
If I get that many words out, look, there's 3 words. I can barely get 1.5.
3 words. 3 words.
Thank you, Daddy. If you can get 3 words out during sex,
Okay.
I love you. I love. Okay, even if you saying I love you, like you better be struggling to get all them words out. Thank you, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. It's more of a
And scene.
it's more of a, and it's not a scene. The girls be thinking, "You so dramatic." I'm not. I'm grateful for this because I don't give this to everybody. I had sex one time in all of 2018, and child, I guess I'll confess that I've had sex one time in all of 2019.
I wasn't gonna read, but I was gonna say something.
So, I mean, I ain't getting it away.
Yeah.
You probably cried during sex twice.
No, I've never cried during sex. I would definitely admit that because I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember that one time that this and that happened. I have never cried during sex.
Some
It's
hole
never...
was so good and so wet. What are the parameters that could possibly invoke it?
I don't know. That's why I'm like, shit. I've done tantric sex at this point since we've talked about tantric before. I've done all kinds of sex with women, with men, and all the positions you can think of. But never has crying come into play. Ever. So we'll see. Maybe the next nigga gonna have the juice.
And then your juice gonna be on the loose.
Woo! That was our icebreaker this week.
Juice on the loose.
The word of the day this week is doppelbanger.
Who?
Doppelbanger.
That ain't what it is.
Yes, it is.
Doppelganger? I thought
Yes, doppelganger is a word,
Okay.
but also is doppelbanger.
Oh.
So doppelbanger is similar to doppelganger, yes, but it means like doppelganger, but someone who bangs similar looking people. People assume
Gym rats. Thick girls gotta be with thick girls. And then let's see. I guess no, twinks don't want twinks. So
they never want another twink.
But stuff like that. Gym
Yeah.
rats love other gym rats and people judge them on Insta. But I'm like, yes, people with similar interests. When is leg day? When is arm day? Those things are important to know. And if you're not a gym girl, then
Y'all not gonna have much in common in that aspect. So what I've always characterized it is, I like a nigga that go to the gym. I don't like a nigga that live at the gym.
oh,
So
what's the difference? Okay,
a nigga that go to the gym, he go to the gym like maybe 4 or 5 times a week, maybe. A nigga that live at the gym, he at the gym every day.
yeah, twice.
He might go for 4 hours. I'm not. That's cute to look at. That's really cute. You can't be over here occupying my time and this the same amount
no
of time.
social skills.
This the same amount of time that we supposed to be hanging with you at the gym, sweating and grunting and shit. No. It needs to be manageable for me. That's just for me. But there are other gym rats out there that they want to be at the gym with their man. I can think of like 3 or 4 couples in Atlanta right now that them niggas live at the gym. They go to work, they go to the gym, they come back home, they go to
Call
sleep,
us by our names,
and then they do it again. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's just their lifestyle. But they're doppelbangers. There are people that want to only fuck and want to only be in relationships with people that look similar to them. I've been confused. I've been characterized as that before, but when I look at like the spectrum of what my exes look like, none of them really look like me. Like they're all different niggas. All of them. Tall, short, skinny, thick, film.
non-religious.
No, almost all of them hoes have been PKs and Christian freaks. No.
Shout out to the Kojic Church.
Have I married? I'm not married.
Have you married?
I don't think I've even been with someone that was
Non-religious?
Non-religious.
Atheist?
Yet. If they are, they weren't when we were together. So that is our word of the day. WERD is doppelbanger. Our affirmation this week is gender is not an assignment, not an assignment, not an assignment. Gender is not an assignment from teachers who don't have the range to assign those types of lessons.
Come on out.
We have people being medical doctors that assign gender at birth, and they do not possess the knowledge, they do not possess the range to tell someone what their gender is by visibly looking at their genitalia. They do not have the range, and I, as someone that comes from the medical community, I am not shading or shaming doctors, but you do not have the range. No one in that room when the child is born has the range to tell the child what gender that they are when they are born. They will discover what gender they are on their journey into adulthood. Do not let social constructs dictate or deconstruct your life. You got a point?
I just want to say that, like, as a person who works in hospitals with surgeons, I can't trust a surgeon to be honest about what he about to go in the room and do. They don't know if they finna cut out your uterus or they about to cut out your. Entrusting them with assigning someone with their gender identity that will be that could possibly be the most important thing to them 16, 18, 20 years from now. No one in the room in 1986 or 1985 or 1983 or like the way that life goes
Or 2019.
I can't. No one was able to tell us anything about gender identity then because let y'all tell it. Everybody was straight. Everybody was supposed to be straight. TokyoVanity, and so this
We are getting there.
Exposure to other forms and ways of life. No one could have imagined that in 1981, 1971, 1968. So it's just like. These girls don't have enough mental health for themselves, let alone to tell someone what their mental health will be and how they will identify in the future. So, what? Move. Get out the way.
They don't have the range. And you can have the degrees.
They can barely
You
tell
can
you
have
what they
the
about to do to you
degrees
today.
and not have the range. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
I have the degree to go in and do patient care. Right now, if I want to go into a skilled nursing facility, into anybody's hospital or anything like that, I don't have the range anymore because I don't want to do that shit no more.
Yeah, first of all.
So, again, range is different than your degree.
Amen.
So, medical doctors have wonderful degrees that attribute them to practice medicine, but does not allow them to assign genders the way that genders should be assigned. There is not an assignment of gender from someone that can't teach that assignment.
I came out the coochie hole 3 seconds ago. You gonna assign my gender? Girl, move. You can't tell me how I will identify. Not even 6 to 8 years. There are PBS has done documentaries on where children knew that they were born the wrong identity. So I mean, girl, you can't tell me what my gender identity will be 1 hour from now. Move.
Absolutely. So we have been doing
Trump was trying to enact a law about that. Now that I think about it, Trump was trying to enact a law where it was assigned at birth and you could not ask for it to be changed in the future. Trump was trying to do that.
Well, I come against that.
I'm
in the name of range, because
move.
he also does not have the range to do a lot.
Trump don't even have a bachelorette's degree. So move.
There's that. Again, you guys, we have been doing this podcast for 2 wonderful years. We just recently celebrated our 2nd anniversary.
2 years and 1 week.
We have been ferociously advocating for our own community. We have been ferociously taking on the detractors of our personhood and of our rights, and also trying to make you laugh at the same time. We would appreciate your support. We cannot do this podcast without your support. If you can support this podcast on Patreon, get over to our Patreon right now. We just recorded new media, new content for Patreon that you will not...
15 minutes bonus material.
You will not get to hear anywhere else unless you are a supporter on Patreon. If you cannot support for at least $1 a month on Patreon, make sure that you share this episode with your community on social media. We would appreciate you. In our tepid topics this week.
Oh, I was watching porn earlier. My browser. Oh,
Wow.
wow. Update my browser.
Mercury is still in retrograde
When does it come out?
Thursday.
Thank
And
God.
that explains a lot of what has happened over this past week.
I quit. I have a story. Oh, if I remember, you know my memory bad. I have a story to tell you.
Okay. While Mercury is in Mercury.
Child.
See, this is she coming out.
Shenanigans.
So while Mercury is in retrograde, the first thing that is attacked is communication.
Amen. Oh, first and foremost.
So again, if you know nothing about the retrograde of Mercury, see,
Woo,
see
woo.
her manifesting
She's like,
right
stop
there.
talking about me. Stop revealing my truth.
The first thing is it attacks communication. There's been said that you should not sign any contracts while Mercury is in retrograde. The enemy will try to confuse you, will trip you up, and you will be in turmoil and all of those things if you do not protect yourself while Mercury is in retrograde.
I went to Ben's Chili Bowl and had a bad experience at Ben's Chili Bowl. I was like, no, I get drunk and come to Ben's Chili Bowl because the food here delivers me from all evil. No, I'm having a bad experience at my place that I go to save me. I just couldn't believe that. Ben's Chili Bowl, I've gotten on the train drunk so many times.
Oh.
Chile. And on the green line, they have to transfer to the red line. So I'm just like, and I got to do train transfers, and it's going to be an hour before I get home.
And you're already dizzy,
First of all,
naturally.
so, woo, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Hey.
So,
T-Pain, what year did they come out? 2004?
oh wow,
2003?
you've been around a while. Burn a blue candle to soften the blow of Mercury's retrograde. Also,
a specific blue candle or
just the blue
color,
candle.
the color blue?
just start
It can
there.
smell like ocean water and just burn a blue
just
candle.
start there, especially if you're not. If you don't do these types of things, if you're
Okay.
just breaking into stones and crystals and
Taking a peek into the
energies
life.
and manifestation and all of those things. But at least start with a blue candle because Mercury's color is represented by blue, and it will.
I'm going to the store tomorrow.
It will help. It will help defend your own vibrations against the retrograde. Again, it ends Thursday, but
I don't know how much time I got, but
we got another one coming up in July. So
it's gonna be hot. Niggas already ain't gonna be shit. Cause they're gonna be see me walk around in short shorts and they gonna want to think they can play games. With
also make sure you get you some sage. Break this shit up.
do I pour it on the carpet? Or
No, you
pour
just
it on- where I
so
pour it?
so
What I
you
do
can
with the
use
sage?
you can use the sage in two ways. You can use it near the blue candle,
Okay.
or you can burn it, preferably as naturally as possible, throughout different centers in your home.
Okay.
Like definitely by the door because that's an entranceway. You
Okay.
ward off spirits by the
Keep the
entranceway.
devil out.
By your bed because that's where you sleep and that's where
where I
things
lay.
can creep into your dreams. By your shower because that is when you get to thinking the most intimate of thoughts when you're by
When you
yourself.
cleanse.
Yes. So at least at those gateways, burning sage helps during the retrograde.
I'm just mad that you just told us that at the end of the retrograde.
Oh, yes,
where
okay.
you was at the beginning.
I was doing that for myself, and shit, I still got impacted.
Woo!
Anyway,
It's a blue candle over there. Oh, okay. We're at your house this week. It's a blue candle over there by the bed.
it's one in the bathroom as well. Anyway, I did all that because again, this past week has given us a lot.
Yeah.
Hashtag surviving Cardi B.
She did. Let you tell the story. Come on.
So Cardi B trended with this surviving Cardi B, which I originally thought it was funny until I saw what
I'm
was
laughing, Steve.
until I saw what it really was about, and then I
Yeah.
was like, "This is not funny," but that was funny
Still
at the
funny.
beginning. So surviving Cardi B being a play on surviving R. Kelly, if you don't know. There was a video leaked. A blogger did an interview with the young lady that leaked the video of. Apparently, Cardi B was on somebody's live at some point.
Insta.
Yeah, and talked about drugging and stealing, robbing niggas that wanted to have sex with her when she was in her stripper prostitution days. this friend of Cardi B's went to Tasha K's YouTube and did an interview.
She got 563,000 subscribers. So I was like, okay, so Tasha K is a valid source. Like, she has an audience. So when if an old friend of Cardi B comes to her, I would hope Tasha K did her due diligence with research and all this, because there's 563,000 people that is about to listen to what Tasha K has to say.
Yeah, I think she did. And even
Wow.
even if she didn't, there is video evidence of Cardi B saying these things out of her mouth. So
There always is with her.
my Dominican sister,
With her, it always is.
she's a crazy rich broke Dominican. She's broke in the head, but rich in the bank account.
Amen.
But that's okay. That's okay. We're gonna work with her, I think. So that's where the hashtag came from. I thought it was very notable that Cardi B took also a Twitter break this time, because last time she was feeling smoke, she took a break from Instagram.
Yep.
And this time she took a break from Twitter. And so I think it is very important to realize when your mental health and your space is being attacked and to take breaks from things. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a different thing when you are running away from things. And when there are allegations that you can easily dispel with, I said that in a rap, or I didn't really mean it like that, or that never happened. You can dispel all that without taking a social media break. Like if somebody said, Superman, I saw you in a porno. Girl, you're a liar. Easy. I don't gotta take a social media break because somebody said that I was in porn. Girl, you're a liar. That's the way that conversation would go.
But somebody with 563,000 subscribers, that's a lot of people that are about to storm.
Yes, I would say, one, thank you for this
conversation. Mute this conversation on Twitter.
No, I would say I would love to see that conversation. If someone with 500,000 followers said D Superman was in porn, I saw it. He was getting fucked by 17 niggas. Ooh, thank you for the publicity.
And I gotta support you through this. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh no, this would be the easiest support.
Was he actually getting fucked by these girls?
I'm just saying, this would be the easiest support. Was you? Go to sleep. This would be the easiest support that anybody would have to do for me as a friend, or that I would have to do in defending myself and saying, oh, okay, no. But if there's a shadow of a doubt that it actually did happen, then yeah, you're going to have to take a break because you can't.
529,000, not 568. But sure, 500 and something. 529,000. So it's like, I can hold you accountable. I can sue you if you're not telling the truth, because you have a platform where a large majority. Oh, wow. Exclusive.
But she also could be
streamed 1 hour ago. Oh, she's not giving up.
No, and you wouldn't if you telling the truth. And that's why I feel like she's being vindicated. She's not losing no money. She's not losing no followers. Cardi B is suing her for $75,000, which in Cardi B world, if Cardi B,
what is $75,000?
It's petty. It is a move to scare other blogs, other people that may know some of the same type of stories from telling those same type of stories, because they don't want to be sued for $75,000.
Journalism at risk. The journalism is at risk. No, all that's going to make us do is all of us are going to band together and support the journalist.
I don't see that. I see a lot of cancel Tasha K.
Oh,
I saw a lot of cancel Tasha K. A lot of, well, Cardi B been telling us her real story and she been real from the get go. I'm like, yeah. But
no, she never told y'all she took niggas to the house and robbed them.
Fuck them, then I get some money. Don't that sound a little bit familiar? Fuck them, then I get some money.
Because in Cardi B's response, she was saying a lot of these rappers talking about drugging women, aka Rick Ross, and y'all semi-canceled Rick Ross, but y'all didn't really cancel Rick Ross. So her response was, "Well, look what other rappers are saying."
That don't make it less illegal. That don't make it less illegal. So again, like I said, it definitely makes me look a little differently at "fuck them, then I get some money," because that's one of my favorite Cardi B lines. Because goal. But where is the sympathy and payola for the men that this might have happened to if this actually did occur? That's the only thing that I see missing from this argument is that if Cardi B did do this because she felt like she was trapped in the game, and
She said she was an up and coming artist. She
right.
needed a lot of money fast, and that robbing men was the only way that she could get the results she needed. So
But drugging them and robbing them at the same time is
she
a little
said
bit different.
dropped. In her response, she said, so I saw the video caption and then I watched it. I heard her say drop. She didn't say drug. She said, I took niggas to the house and then I dropped them. And so I was like, oh, that's a very New York slang word. If dropping niggas mean that you rob them, I didn't hear her say drugging niggas. She said dropped, and then I dropped. I took them back to the hotel, and then I dropped niggas. I was
So
like,
what does dropped mean then?
that's what I was saying. It would be a New York slang word,
That
and
still
what does
sounds
that
like
mean?
drugging.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, but she didn't explicitly say drugs, and so if dropping someone means that you drug them, can somebody clarify that for me? Because I also didn't research it. I saw what she said. I was like, she didn't say drugged. She said dropped.
So-
but I don't know what the definition of dropped means. I don't know what the definition.
So in a lot of instances of date rape, when people are using GHB, like I've talked about on previous episodes, they'll use the eyedropper and put 2 or 3 drops of the GHB. Again, that's why that's why it's being insinuated that she's talking about drugging people, because that would be what dropped means. People in date rape situations, they will take the eyedropper
Because the pill is easily seen in a cup.
Yes, but 2 or 3 drops of GHB in a drink is, you can't smell it, you can't taste it. You will have drank the whole drink. The GHB will be.
Don't leave your drink
system.
nowhere. I'm not leaving my drink nowhere.
But that culture is not in men. Definitely not in cishet men.
Homosexual?
The culture of watching your drink. If a bitch, excuse me, damn.
If a woman,
the Detroit jumped out. If a female, I can't say female because that's different. But if a young lady brings you a drink, and you think that y'all are about to have sex, you're gonna drink the drink. In general, cishet hetero dating and going
he
on.
bought me a drink, girl. I'm finna go over here with Chris. I'm gonna talk to y'all later.
If a girl brings you a drink, a straight man is never like, did she put something in this drink? No, not many straight men that I have ever come across. They'll drink the whole drink because it's Henny in here. That's gonna make my dick hard for like an extra 20 minutes, and I'm gonna get what I'm gonna get. And then now
he's a bad bitch.
Right, and now he then got drugged and woke up without his Rolexes. That's also a Cardi B lyric.
Woo.
And his wallet. So, #surviving Cardi B. I hope that she has a really good defense for this, besides suing somebody for $75,000, because that doesn't say I'm innocent. That doesn't say I ain't never do this. And definitely when looking back at your words, it does not look great. Me gente. Teen Titans has cast its first deaf trans man to play a character in its new streaming show. I am extremely excited about it, because DC's streaming,
the new app or the DC streaming app, or
it's the
DC
it's
Universe?
Netflix. It's Netflix for DC.
DC Universe is that the name of the app? Okay.
Yeah, and so I really haven't had a reason to be excited, and I love DC. But this piques my interest just a little bit more, because the trans man that they've cast in the role of Jericho is differently abled. He's Jewish, and he's a trans man of color. His name is Chella Man. And it is the first time in any of the comic book shows or movies that they have directly looked into a community that has never had a superhero to have a superhero represented. And for all the praise that Marvel gets, I know it probably feels like I've been dragging Marvel for 3 weeks, but facts. For all the praise that Marvel gets for storytelling, they never have gotten to this aspect of someone that is disabled, differently abled, a person of color, and trans, and can be represented by a comic book character already in existence. Jericho is a character from DC Comics whose mysterious powers are activated by his gaze. Gaze, get it? Gaze, Gays, gaze. Sorry. If he locks eyes with you, he can control your body. He's also the son of Deathstroke, who is one of my favorite bad guys, and so I really, really love this move for the DC universe and for Teen Titans. I didn't really watch the first season. I only watched like the excerpts and wasn't really that interested, but I am definitely going to go watch the first season so that I'm prepared for the second season, because I want to see this trans, differently abled Jewish trans man represent for the culture.
Come on out.
Spring has sprung. We are in spring now, and I think that spring cleaning is extremely important to you guys. Making sure that you do more than just the physical spring cleaning. Spring cleaning means spring cleaning things, people, ideas, and spirits. We are the new ancestors right now.
Oh.
Last week we talked about Dr. Maya Angelou, and we have to realize that there's never going to be another Dr. Maya Angelou. There's only going to be whatever we leave behind, and we are the current ancestors to people 60 years in the future from now. So if it be video, if it be podcasting, if it be Twitter feeds, whatever it is in the historical data that they will look back and talk about, we are those current ancestors now, and we have to make sure that we've cleaned up our own house so that we can shine brightly in those people's eyes. We never saw a sex tape from Dr. Maya Angelou.
What are you talking about? What?
I'm just saying. So like that's an ancestor. Like we hold up greatly and dearly for her great works, because she also did a great work to hold up her own character. And I think it's important now that we do that now.
Okay.
Because a lot of us don't.
So stop having sex on video?
I'm not saying that.
What are you saying?
Because Pam Anderson is still famous as fuck.
What are you saying? One night in Paris.
Yeah. And that message may not resonate with everyone, and that's fine. But the people that it will resonate with, I see you. We see each other. Tokyo from Love and Hip Hop.
TokyoVanity. What she do?
Miss That's My Best Friend. Because really, I haven't watched Love and Hip Hop in a while. A long time. And so I didn't even realize that she was on Love and Hip Hop.
What she do?
Tokyo made a video talking about her discomfort and her unknowing, just ignorance. Just ignorance. Ignorance of why gay visibility was so prevalent now, and seeing so much of gay characters and the gay agenda. We'll get to the gay agenda being seen on TV and in media. And I think she was speaking her truth.
On Instagram Live, she was like, I just feel like the kids are exposed to so much of it now, and they are easily influenced, and it's just too much. Do you know how long we had to fight for recognition? Do you know how long black people, and we are still fighting to be equally recognized in cities like Chicago, in cities like New York, and the whole state of Florida, because girls, stand your ground is trash. So for you to be on Instagram Live, doing your nails and slamming everyone who has inspired you and supported you through your journey, from whatever small neighborhood you were from, because I don't even think she was from Atlanta. I think she just, like, this is the closest franchise I could be associated with. And so, for her to just sit on her Instagram live and be filing her nails and laying in the bed, fresh at 11 a.m. because she don't have to go clock in anywhere and not have to mask her identity or not have to conform to anything because people who have supported her have allowed her to broadcast live from Instagram at 11 a.m. Use your platform for something better than that.
But that's why I said she's speaking her truth, and that's all she knows. Ignorance can't be covered
You act
up.
like one of the city girls, and I'm just, I not that I expected that to be more, but be more, be better, be best, or whatever.
What I said on Twitter was, anytime a bitch opens their mouth, and I use that term very firmly.
Yeah.
Anytime a bitch opens their mouth and say, I just feel like, that means the dumbest, the most uninformed, the least researched thing is about to come out of your goddamn mouth. So the I just feel like part of her argument is all of those things still. And she can just feel like that. She's an American. She's allowed to feel like that. I'm not saying she should
Amendment 1.
I'm not saying she should go to jail for her feelings. I'm saying she should go to school. I'm saying she should learn more. I'm saying she should be around a more diverse group of people.
But she already is exposed. She's in Atlanta, exposed around a lot of things. So there are two social media influencers.
There are two
millennials are more likely to have careers in the types of things that she has careers in, and especially people who are more progressive with their thoughts. And so I thought about that as well.
No. There are two Atlantas. There are the girls, and I mean boys and girls, but the girls that live in Atlanta that know that it is gay Hollywood, but it is also a chocolate city. It's not the chocolate city because DC is the chocolate city, but it's a chocolate city, and they will deal with the gays because they know that they don't have any choice. These are the girls that are the executive vice presidents of this, the hairdressers of that, the marketers of this. If you get to
power,
they're intertwined so much in the Atlanta community that you can't get away from them. Does that mean you have to be educated on them? No,
it should, because they everywhere, all in and around. But apparently that's the one Atlanta. That's one version of Atlanta.
So yeah, that's the one Atlanta that she is in. There are so many other love and hip hop girls that are the same way, and Real Housewives of Atlanta girls that are the same way. Of I'll deal with the gays, I'll steal the gay lingo, I pretend to even like the gays, and then you get behind closed doors and they be like, they taking our men.
Marlo calling Miss Lawrence a faggot.
So that's why there are two Atlantas. It's not, and it's not fair to say that just because she lives in Atlanta that she would be more quote unquote woke to gay causes because she lives in Atlanta. There's still a lot of goddamn homophobia in Atlanta on the fucking Piedmont and on the Peachtree right now.
And on Church Road.
So no, Atlanta, just being present in Atlanta does not absolve you from homophobia, unfortunately. But I want her to do a better job. I want her to learn from people around her. I want her to read some books. I want her to see some videos. And I want her to cut them goddamn nails. Pose season 2.
Woo! It's not even my birthday.
Okay.
It's not.
Pose season 2 has begun filming. The episode, I mean the season.
The seasons
are.
Don't report this wrong. I might punch you. This is important.
Don't he got jokes, y'all? He got jokes. And is supposed to air this summer.
Pride Month, June.
So, breaking news, no, I did not get the call to play the gay trade at the sex party in Pose season 2.
We also didn't go to New York and audition, but... So, they still should have called us.
But I'm still encouraged that y'all will call for season 3. My number is...
Okay.
202.
Okay. Come on, DC number.
But
when
I can't...
first met you, you had a Texas number.
I lived in Texas. I can't wait for positive LGBT television to come back into my life.
Slay me. Take me down. Bring me
Because
up.
there is none currently.
Throw me around. I'm about to. Wow. Just give me all the emotions. Thank you. I'm end up saying thank you to Pose. Thank you. Thank you, Pose.
That means the episode ain't that good because you had time to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
look.
next. Thank you, next. But we're currently rewatching Noah's Ark, so that's not what's on right now. But we were noticing that some of the themes from Noah's Ark are still relevant in 2019 as they were
Like saying, oh,
decades ago. Are we coming back to that? Because I got time. I got time.
The girls want a trademark. Oh, okay.
Trademark something that wasn't yours.
And then she wants to reach out for the Drag Race girl for an endorsement, but she wasn't the one that said Laganja Estrella was not the original.
She got that from somewhere else. And so I don't understand. Well, I do understand. Money is the reason.
Coin. She's admitted coin is the reason.
Because, well, no, I'm not talking about from her part, but why anybody would grant her the trademark for something that has been said before she was born. Belle Khalice is what, 26?
28, 29, 20.
I don't think she.
I want to say 29 is kind of.
She's 26 or below.
Okay.
The ballroom scene has been saying things around that for longer than that. And for someone to be born and then claim a trademark for something that was said before they were born, money.
But you know, the girls who are investigating the trademark are not going to do their due diligence.
Do an investigation? They're not going to do an investigation?
Yeah.
Post season 2, can't wait to see you guys come back. OMG. Rosie O'Donnell is making me defend Elizabeth Hasselbeck.
What happened? I saw Elizabeth. I didn't even see what Rosie said. The trend is whatever this other girl said. I'm like, I don't like this other girl, but she's the one trending. I don't know what Rosie said. What did Rosie say?
Rosie O'Donnell, our good sister in the community. Please choose your words carefully. I know that you come from a different era when you did not have to say things one way or have to just say things just to your friends.
Oh.
And something different in social media or in books.
Okay.
But this could get you fucked up. And giving white lily Republican girls.
Okay, you gotta say it right. It's lily white bitches. That's my word. I should get that trademark. It's Cardi B. Lily white bitches. Lily white. I love lilies. But the white lilies and bitches.
And that is exactly what Elizabeth Hasselbeck is.
Lily white bitches.
I'm absolutely not here for having to defend that lily white bitch or any lily white bitch on any day, but I have to in this instance.
Okay, so what happened? So
Rosie O'Donnell is in a book where she says that she had a little bit of a crush, quote, a little bit of a crush on Elizabeth Hasselbeck, and claims there were underlying lesbian tones on both parts.
Oh.
She further calls attention to Elizabeth Hasselbeck's time playing softball while she was in college, when Rosie O'Donnell didn't know her, by saying, there are not many in my life girls with such athletic talent on sports teams that are traditionally male that aren't at least a little bit gay. I put the bit in there, but she said a little gay. Oh wait, no, she did say a little bit.
Oh.
That's the quote. And so in that, she made the inference that just by being on a female sports team, that most of them girls are gay, and that's not how sports teams work.
Incorrect.
She also made the inference that the crush between her and Elizabeth Hasselbeck was both ways. And Elizabeth Hasselbeck
was not reciprocated, ma'am.
Heterosexual. and does not like you. So that's not true.
Oh, it was not reciprocated.
And she also said that there were the undertones of
Rosie said,
yeah, lesbian undertones, underlying lesbian tones on both parts. And Elizabeth Hasselbeck has no lesbian tones to her.
yeah,
She is a Bible thumping
Oh
Republican conservative. Died in the wolves. I support the troops, but ain't never been a troop.
Ooh.
And this is not who she is. And she took to the View today to promote her own book and to vehemently
She got her book
deny
in her own response.
Yeah, vehemently deny these accusations that Rosie
I don't know
O'Donnell
how to
is
feel.
saying.
Well, I do know how to feel. Rosie, what?
So again, this could have been relegated to, even if you felt this and weren't sure about this.
Don't say that out loud.
Not in a book. This is written in a book, not on Twitter, not on Facebook, not in the Instagram story. It's in a written book.
Wow.
That she said these things, and they are untrue. Were they true? I'd be like, I would never have guessed that.
If there was an ounce of a possibility of it being true, not that if we know if it's true, it's if there was an ounce of, could this possibly be true?
But it's all...
I don't be at the View every day, but so how does Rosie feel when she come to work every day? She's allowed those thoughts. So it's like, I look at this bitch every day, and I don't see that.
And it's not that you can see
gay men do it sometimes
and it's
as
not,
well.
Yeah, and it's not that you can.
And
it's not that you can see sexual orientation because it can't be seen. But there is just so much, again, inference into this is how Rosie feel.
Yeah,
Rosie was basically making the same kind of statements that Tokyo did. Of I just feel like it was lesbian undertones to this girl playing softball or when she was around me. And then also saying that she wanted to groom her and things like that.
Whoa.
Rosie, stop. Rosie, stop.
Whoa.
First off, we weren't asking no questions about Rosie. We were not missing you. No shade. But this is not helping.
I know you need your engagement and your numbers and stuff, but this is not positive social media engagement. This is negative social media engagement. So, what?
And even if it was true, again, I'm in my heart of hearts, in my intuition, I know it's not true. But even if it was, why are you outing another lesbian if she was a lesbian?
Because that's not our style. That's not our style.
Elizabeth Hasselbeck is married with 3 kids. And if she was a lesbian, if she wanted your snatch, you felt like the proper medium was to get into a book and tell the world that Elizabeth Hasselbeck was a lesbian?
Wow, that's not the right...
Go to sleep, Rosie
O'Donnell.
O'Donnell.
All my lesbian sisters and brothers.
Rosie O'Donnell, no. Go to sleep. She should be on a goddamn Twitter break.
So are you wrapping up Hot Topics?
No, unfortunately.
Well, how many more Hot Topics you got?
Us came out this past weekend.
Who?
Us, US.
Me and you, we came out. Elizabeth is a backache, so...
Wow, that's not how you even say her name, but all right. Us came out this weekend,
okay.
And I think that it was a great movie. If you have not seen Us yet, please fast forward this episode about 5 minutes while we do a semi-spoiler review.
2, 1. It was trash.
So, I knew that girls like you would think that.
Wow, that was a joke. Oh, so you think I'm trash? Wow. Wow, that was a joke.
And so, I saw, like, before it actually even came out, the critics, it was like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
True, and the girls love complaining on the internet.
Yeah.
So the girls not complaining on the internet? Oh, I gotta go see this.
And then, like, during this past weekend while it was out and actual people, not critics, were talking about it, I saw it get more mixed reviews. Like, there were people that didn't like it at all.
That is the point. That is the point.
And there were people that did really like it.
That's how you know it's successful.
Yeah. And so, the people that didn't really like it, I think that they have a different palette for movies.
They wanted a more straightforward... Oh, Jason is coming. The old white lady is gonna shoot him. oh, he's gonna pretend to be dead, but when she turns around, he is going to be gone. No, that's not how Jordan Peele thinks.
Yeah. And I think
This-
Get Out was a little bit more palatable for that demographic.
Yeah.
And this was more of a thinking movie.
Y'all like the thinking part? I'm gonna include a lot more of the thinking part.
Yeah, and open-endedness of things where you had to think about it or come to your own conclusion.
Yep.
And I really like that about the movie. Do I love Us? Do I think that Us is one of the greatest horror movies of all times, which I saw a lot of critics saying about it? No, because I've seen horror movies, and that's not the greatest of them. Was it a good movie? Yes. I think that Jordan Peele has created a space and a lane for himself and put a stamp
With
on
two
the industry
movies.
with only 2 movies.
The girls are mad that he's 2 movies in and already is legendary.
And
So they're also trying to deny him that in their rebuttals.
well, the numbers do not lie. The same metrics that they apply to these other.
Y'all still give it to M. Night Shyamalan. Lord knows.
Well, M. Night Shyamalan is a person of color, but when
Oh,
it
right.
is,
Yeah,
but
I
when it
didn't
is,
deny that.
but when it is, white screenwriters, directors, they are allowed a different space.
Why
of
does Death Day have a remix? Death Day 2.
a remix?
Go. A white woman wakes up in her bed in college and 50 Cent Party in the Club is playing. Why does that need a remix movie? Why does it deserve a sequel? I didn't see the first one. I ain't seen the second one.
The first one was pretty good. I haven't seen the second one,
Oh my god! So then you okay?
but
So Death Day was a good movie as well.
it was entertaining. It was less of a thinking man's movie, but it was more of a popcorn movie. Again, you have to be a student of film, be a student of movies to know.
and
these
that's
things.
what we need people who go see us to understand. Death Day 2, and us are completely different.
I'm not, and so again, I say that, but I also am not giving it, like I said, the credit of what critics were saying as far as it being the greatest horror film ever. Like they put it
Shining
again.
I know Shining is up there for y'all.
Yeah, again, it has Alfred Hitchcock vibes, but it is not an Alfred Hitchcock
More Alfred Wood.
movie. The one thing that I definitely want to highlight is if Lupita Nyong'o does not snatch every award
Sweetheart.
this next year, we should riot.
The Spirit Awards. It's not even an independent film, but she at least deserves a nomination.
She was the literal representation of working twice as hard to get half as much. 2 characters with range. 2 characters with range. Some of the girls barely have 1 character with half the range.
The husband was just a comedic relief, and people were, they're like, M'Baku could blow my back out, but this guy, I don't know.
The sexiness and the thickness of Winston Duke
Baby
cannot be
head,
matched.
Sweetheart.
It can't be matched. I really
And
don't feel like
they
it
allowed
can.
all the angles with the video.
And I when I see it again, I'm
You
going.
like thick boys? That's new for you.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. Well, if your next piece ain't a 44 in the waist, I'm boycotting.
And M'Baku, Winston Duke is not a 44 in the waist.
You don't know that.
I do. I have
What is he in
eyes.
the waist?
Not a 44.
I'm good.
Those thighs can save lives,
In Jesus' name.
and they were on full display in this movie.
all the time.
I really loved the commentary that is kind of undertoned in this could be what it looks like for a black upheaval, like what uprising or upheaval of what white people have been scared of for a long time in this country, of what happens when the day that black people realize the things that we have done to them and they revolt. Has revolutions happened before? Yes. Have we done it on the scale that could have been done? No. And so I think that the movie, again, that was from my perspective, one of the things that Jordan Peele was kind of winking at. I think there was a commentary on the fight against homelessness. There was a commentary on the fight against classism and environmentalism that also played into it. And if you didn't see those things, you've got to see it again.
I
you
gotta
gotta
see it
learn.
again once the stuff die down.
Yeah.
Because right now we're just all going to see it for Jordan Peele. Okay.
And lastly, with that, I think it was also a nod to whitewashed black people. So the tethered being more considered as like actual black people, and then the people that were in the real world being considered whitewashed black people, meaning black people that feel like they're black but not like black. Like if you even listen to the vernacular of the cast that weren't the tethered, the shadows, they were a little white. And
Naive.
and definitely naive. And the tethered didn't have voices except one.
Uh, uh,
So I
There's
think that
also
it was
spoiler alert. Oh, we need to finish because we told the girls 4 or 5 minutes.
yeah, and so I think it was a nod to all of that. And if you didn't see any of that, rewatch it. If you need to hit a joint beforehand, also do that because that can help. But I think it was a good movie, but not the best horror movie of all time. Just something worth seeing.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Bob Mueller, we were all rooting for you.
Bye.
We were all rooting for you.
2 years. You wasted my life.
So I hope that this has a better conclusion than what this week has given. Like I said
We
at
are
the
in
beginning,
retrograde. That's why these.
like I said at the beginning, we are in retrograde,
Everything-
and things that are being communicated to us are haywire.
I'm about to go get my blue candle. Because I know that the full report going to come out and it's going to be misty nights over here. But at least I'll have the truth. Amen.
I know that if you want to put someone in charge of an investigation and find some shit out, you need to put a black woman or a bottom in charge
Come
of
on
that
out,
investigation
prosecutor.
because they're going to find all of the things. And if
willing
he
to
did,
accept the truth.
and if he did not find crimes that Donald Trump obviously committed, he needed a black woman or a bottom on his team. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Real Housewives of Atlanta. Eva was embarrassed this last episode because of her alleged money troubles. And I think that she should be less embarrassed about her money troubles and more interested in surrounding herself with real friends.
Amen.
When you are surrounded by real friends, you do not worry about them telling the world that you got $2.59 in your account. You worry about whether them two friends are going to add $2.59 to your account. Not tell the world about
Girl,
your
can I pay for
$2.59.
dinner tonight? Or girl, can I pay for something? How can I help you instead of drag you down?
Yeah. So I think that she needs to trust but verify with her goddamn friends. They dig.
She had been friends with that girl for a decade.
They dig through your life. They pretend to be somebody. They be in your wedding. And that's to two of the girls. And at the end of the day, you should really be doing background checks on these hoes. Who was that? That was Lisa Nicole Cloud.
Okay, I'm like, yeah.
On
that
Married
was
to Medicine.
Married to Medicine.
That was doing background checks on girls before friendship and
She
before
did one on
business.
Quad because they said Quad wasn't trustworthy. Quad is not. So
Need a background check.
ta-da!
Even
Surprise.
needs to do some background checks. RuPaul's best friend race. I think that this episode was a timely episode because it touched on xenophobia.
Amen.
Right after the
recent
massacre in New Zealand where dozens of people were killed.
49.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
Were killed in a
New Zealand.
mass shooting, and they were killed because they were Muslim. And we had the first Muslim drag queen on Drag Race. Again, I mean, stars had to align for this episode to happen literally right after that. And then for her, spoiler alert.
And then, so for New Zealand's laws to be more liberal than America's laws, where Amendment number 2 is the right to bear arms, there's still voter laws, girl. Like, okay, I gotta have a valid state ID. I gotta have 2 forms of valid state ID with photos if needed, depending on my state. I mean, the right to bear arms is cute, but like, and compared to other amendments where I am also expected to have all these other appendixes to the law, how come the right to bear arms don't get any appendices? And that's what worries me then, because New Zealand was able to have the incident and have a full law within 10 days. But it's taken us millennia to, first of all, we've only been thing for 265 years. But girl, it's not that Amendment 17 or Amendment 21 or Amendment 29 don't come with variable rights. I mean, like, like other requirements. Yeah, you have it, but what about these things that go with it? You need to have these things to support it, to prove that you are able to have your Second Amendment right. Even with free speech, girl, if I said like Nazi Germany, Nazis to the day I die, I do have free speech to say that. But girl, I'm still gonna be held to the cross. So I'm not gonna be held to the Constitution. I'm gonna be held to the cross on about my Nazi views. So how come when I want to go buy 2 automatic assault rifles, ain't nobody got nothing to say? I'm about them. I'm confused. I'm dizzy all the time. Y'all just gonna allow me to have 2 automatic pistols?
Yeah, and again,
What?
so the episode this week, Mercedes got to touch on her Muslim faith, and finally
she had to legally change her whole name from, it was something Muhammad, and because her name included the word Muhammad, she was put on a no-fly list, and she was just trying to take her grandma to London. I did all these drag shows, booked me and my grandma 2 flights to London, and now all of a sudden my grandma gets to go to London, who doesn't speak English, because I was supposed to be her translator. I was supposed to keep my grandma safe during our trip to London. And so, who's going to keep my grandma safe when she gets there? Now I got to come up with other money. What? Because y'all think I'm the dangerous one when all these mass murders in the last 5 years have been committed by white men. Get away from me with this. I'm not here for it. Okay, shut my fat ass up. Woo. It's very difficult for me. It's very difficult.
So again, I think it was a very timely episode. We're all lucky to have seen her talk about it before she went home. I wish her the best. I think she was a good drag queen. I do think it was her time.
Yeah, it was.
But it also spurned a question on YouTube that I had looked at, and I didn't realize that many people have been asking the same question: was, does Drag Race need RuPaul?
No.
So,
and that's my fave. I got 2 faves, Wendy Williams and RuPaul. But it don't need RuPaul anymore. But it's like doing Top Model with Rita Ora.
So, I'm about to get to that. So I think the name and the coin for the show should and will more than likely always go to RuPaul because it's his intellectual property, Queen Mother. I did all of this. But we are at season 11 and a pioneer. But we are at season 11 and we still haven't really found America's next drag superstar.
Maybe just RuPaul should come do the circle around in the workroom like Tim Gunn does on Project Runway. It's Project Runway, but they've had like 3 or 4 hosts.
I don't know. I've never watched that.
Oh, okay.
But we are, again, like I said, 11 seasons in, plus All-Stars. And we've got all of these winners, and really no one that could really hold the crown of RuPaul out of all of these winners. Not even just the ones that came close or that made the most money or sold the most albums, but we still don't even have just another girl that can be RuPaul if RuPaul died tomorrow. I think that it is worth exploring. Like we talked about with America's Next Next Top Model, because RuPaul's Drag Race was really initially a play on America's Next Top Model.
Is my favorite reality show, and then RuPaul's Drag Race came out. I was like, oh my gosh, based on my original favorite all time. Yeah, and then it was gay. I was like, wow, that really. Yeah, that helped me transfer my spirit from Top Model to Drag Race because it was based on it was just the gay version, so of course.
So I think that they could use the opportunity to try it, just like Next Top Model tried it with Rita Ora. I think Rita Ora was a horrible decision. There are plenty of other girls. I don't know.
She cannot get me to watch no TV.
I don't know where Naomi Campbell was. I don't know
on the face.
I don't know
she
where.
Had her own show called The Face.
Where's that?
And where is that? Where is that?
Even Eva Marcel could have done it as a winner
True. I would tune in a little taste.
for Eva Marcel to.
But you know the black girl being the.
But she is a black girl taking a black girl.
Was a black girl. Okay, yeah. I was like, oh, okay, here we go. Okay, I need to compute.
So I think that as a testament of Rue's tutelage as a teacher,
someone replace RuPaul on
at least for one season, and then we say, I ain't like that. Where's RuPaul? As a testament to RuPaul's tutelage and crowning of these queens, try one of them. Say, okay, Alyssa, you do it.
Trixie Mattel.
That's gonna be a fail. But I think if Rue died tomorrow, I would want Laverne Cox. I would want Alyssa Edwards. I would want Naomi Campbell and Billy Porter on the judges' table. They can argue out who's gonna be the main host or what, but I want those. That would be a great judges' table. You got black girls, you got trans girls, you got white girls, and so I think that they should try it because I think Rue is like one mistake away from putting his foot fully in his mouth in things.
Because he's been...
And that can take away the coin for the whole franchise. So that is the recap there. I would just like to close it with How White Men Get Away with Murder. Ed Buck is still...
Shout out to the new charges.
Yeah, Ed Buck is still on these streets and he needs to be in jail. The coroner's office this week finally released the official cause of death of Timothy Dean, who his last victim was, as an overdose of methamphetamines.
An accidental overdose.
Duh.
Well, if I was strapped to the bed...
And did when the police got there. And there was porn playing in the background when the police got there.
And there were methamphetamine products around the room when I was strapped to the bed. So I was doing it myself because I was strapped to the bed. So who did this to me?
I can't inject things into my arm with my feet.
What is going on?
Buck's attorney released a statement this week also saying that Timothy Dean arrived at Ed Buck's house already under the influence.
That's the same thing he said about
Same thing he said about Jamel Moore. Under the influence does not mean dead.
Right, because I'm under the influence right now. And I show up to work every...
Again, you can be under the influence of something and then something else added to. Again, the girls... Y'all, if you did not go to medical school, you did not go to nursing school, you do not know how
the girls don't die
things interact.
Overdose of alcohol. Many of us don't. Many, I know there's a select few.
Yeah, there are people that do die of that.
As I pour alcohol.
The Federal Election Records Commission has uncovered that Ed Buck has donated more than $53,000 to Democratic candidates and campaigns since 2008. My only question, it's an open question, doesn't need an answer at this moment, but is that the price of 2 African American men's lives in 2019? 2019, you spent $53,000 over the last 11 years, and that has kept you out of jail.
Imagine what my student loan debt looks like. Oh, child.
Murder of 2 black men that has kept you out of jail. So again, I will not take my stiletto off this bitch's neck. Hashtag arrest Ed Buck until I see the person behind bars. And that is this week's Tepid Topics.
Thank you guys so much for leaving us reviews on Apple Podcasts. Like barely outside the top 200 in the Bahamas. We were number 205 this week. And in South Africa, we were number 215 in their top 200 podcasts. The latest review says, I'm a new listener and I love it so far. So shout out to New24 via Apple Podcasts who left us a 5-star review with 2 hand claps. Thank you so much for listening and loving Here For It podcast, New24. Even if you don't leave a review or a comment on Apple Podcasts, we are always looking and lurking on SoundCloud, TuneIn, Spotify, anywhere that you can listen to podcasts and leave comments. We are there. We are watching, and we love and appreciate everything that you guys have to say about Here for a Podcast.
Thank you guys so much again for all the support. Again, we will not and we cannot do this without you.
If I was a strict top, I would have sex with all y'all, but I'm not. I'm a bottom.
Take your Truvada. And we're about to get to that in a minute.
All right, social studies. I have a few questions for you, co-host. What's your favorite gaming console in all of your life? Which one do you...
PS4
Okay,
to the day.
I was going to say besides the current version. Well, it's like some girls like GameCube, some girls like Sega Genesis, some girls
PS2, because PS2 had
PS2.
PS2 had the most lit games, and I remember it as a teenager.
When did they come out? 91?
No, it was in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Your favorite cereal? My favorite cereal was Frosted Flakes. Oh no, I loved honeycombs.
I like Cinnamon Toast Crunch still.
I like Smacks a little bit, but Smacks
that's the nastiest one.
We had roaches anyway, so it looked like roaches. So.
Oh, okay.
What movie did you enjoy as a teen that you could still watch today?
Terminator 2.
91? I'm thinking everything about 91 or 93.
Will you stay in that
91. I mean, like, that's when I started watching movies and stuff.
Okay. No, I feel like Terminator came out in like the mid 90s.
Is there any other
Terminator
movies
2.
that you feel?
Spawn.
Oh, well, Michael Bay Jordan. Well, my Michael Bay Jordan is y'all.
Wow.
Michael J. White.
There you go.
Wow. I had to imagine. I was so in tune with the body. I was like, I don't even know the name. His name was Michael. I loved his body.
Daddy. Michael
Yeah.
Daddy Jai.
Yeah.
Michael Daddy Jai White.
And Tasha still screaming his name. No pause.
Okay.
The last question is, at your prom, what songs do you remember?
Damn. I remember like some white songs.
Usher.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, by Usher.
There was a Pink song because Pink has been killing it.
Yeah, it was a Pink one, and then the Vanessa Carlton song I think was our slow song. Apple bottom jeans and the boots with
T-Pain.
fur.
Okay.
No, that was Flow Rider.
Oh, correct me. I wasn't there at your prom.
So yeah, those songs I remember from my prom.
What do those when you think about your favorite movies from back in those times, or the song?
Well, my prom and other teenage years are two different times. Like early '90s, I was not in high school.
I mean, I'm asking you, what do you remember about?
Okay, so Terminator 2 I thought was visually stunning. It was one of the first movies that I really loved the special effects for. I didn't know anything about special effects. I just thought that magic was happening. And I liked the mother, who was Sarah Connor's interaction and training of John Connor, which foreshadowed me even joining the military myself.
Nostalgia. According to, I watched this video on YouTube by Hank Green with the SciShow Psych. I'm going to leave the link in the video in the description below because it's big words, fancy acronyms. The University of Southampton in England says nostalgia can be your brain's way of protecting you by changing your mood and increasing your self-esteem. So you're like, oh, songs today don't just really do it for me. I listened to 2 Rita Ora songs. Then Ariana Grande came on, and she could never. She tries her best, but she's no Mariah Carey. And then, like, according to Kim Burrell, Fantasia is no Leandra Johnson.
I'm getting there.
What is going on? Kim Burrell, what is going on? Kim Burrell is canceled. So nostalgia can be your brain's way of protecting you. And also, according to Hank Green in his video, nostalgia makes you feel more connected to people. If you could go buy a PS2 game or a PS3 game, it is said per researchers that nostalgic items like video games and going back to live events help connect people to remember great periods in their life. I know that the Millennium Tour is going on right now, and we all remember Chingy. I like the way you do that right there. Hey. but also Res B is there with B2K causing trouble. And people are asking if Res B needs therapy.
Yes.
Res B needs therapy in 2002, and Res B needs therapy in 2019.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's no joke. There's nothing to play about. But I also don't like that he continues to say that he don't know if he can make it to the end of the Millennium Tour, because we've all bought our tickets and we're all expecting that nostalgia that we tuned into.
No, we all didn't.
Well, first of all, B2K was my thing in 2000.
Where's your ticket at?
Don't deny me my rights.
You ain't got no ticket.
I also didn't go to Ariana Grande this week. I love No Money and Ariana. I just don't have the money.
So you guys can change that over at Patreon.
Anyway, researchers say that nostalgic items like video games or live events help people remember great periods in their life. And studies also say that people will spend more money for those things. So I would spend more money to have happy feelings towards something from...
Happy feelings.
Come on out. But the original Nintendo was re-released and the girls bought that out. And I have a serious affection for Duck Hunt. So I guess if they release the original Nintendo with Duck Hunt and I can go buy the gun, I guess I'll be doing those things. That's social studies this week.
Work.
Remembering songs that came out when we were at prom and remembering our favorite cereals as children. Nostalgia and the effects, the positive and negative effects, because, child, I don't like ketchup because when I was with my abuser, I see red.
Oh, okay. Well, this week in sexual health, welcome to the Sexperts Casting Couch.
That's a real category in porn.
It is.
I'm scared.
Yeah, you should always be scared if you're on a casting couch. I have been reporting for the past couple weeks on the discoveries and the cures going on with HIV research. And this past week, it was also unearthed that the seventh person that has been on PrEP has contracted HIV. And of course, the typical detractors, the typical people that will say what they will about PrEP unknowingly and uneducatedly, will continue to espouse the same things about something that they do not know. So, the story is the seventh person, who is named Steven Spencer, has tested positive for HIV, despite actually saying that he used PrEP on demand, meaning he was using PrEP before and after sexual encounters that was not in line with his doctors. So I think that is the most important thing to take away from this, is that this person was using PrEP not adherent to what he was supposed to be doing. He was only using it before and after actual sex and not using it in the way that it's prescribed, which is the most important part. I think that it is also an important note to talk about the numbers. PrEP is lauded as a drug that is 97% effective against HIV, though the numbers may skew closer to 99% depending on other studies that you may read. The reason for those studies, and the reason that this is inconsequential to the argument for PrEP, is that there are currently 450,000 people taking Truvada as PrEP and other drugs as PrEP right now. No, 450,000 people. Of those 450,000 people, there are 7 people that said that they came up HIV positive while on the drug.
because they played what they
And
didn't
so
do it right.
whether they
All 7 of them said, "I didn't do it right."
they were either adherent or non-adherent. Excuse me. They were either non-adherent or they were doing things.
During peak periods and peak
Yes,
season, like
they were
3 months in
yeah.
the summer, I usually take it because I know I'm a hoe in the summer. But in the winter, I'm dating seriously, so I don't take my prep. Ma'am, take your cholesterol and your diabetes medication year round. You can just take it when you decide.
Absolutely.
What's going on?
And I think that there is misinformation going on around that. And I think that it's important to talk about it here. You guys should be talking about it in your own communities, whether you are currently on PrEP yourself or not, or if you are on treatment as prevention. It is a bad PR piece for this story to have gotten so much traction and for there to have been so much misinformation around the topic to continue to go around. So that's one piece of sexual health that I want to talk about is that because I think that this young man knows that he did not do it the best way, and that's why he originally discovered his diagnosis for HIV back in December, and we're just not finding out about it in March for a reason. But I think that there were people that wrote blogs that mistitled their blogs or titled their blogs for clickbait purposes, and that does not help our community. Our community is in an era where they should be finding out the most truthful thing about this drug, the most truthful things about HIV, and for blogs, clinics, pharmacies, anybody to create these misleading titles to elicit clicks to get a couple dollars at the expense of people's lives,
Deaths.
you are doing the public a disservice. That's not public health. That's not advocacy. You're wrong. The main part that I wanted to get to about this whole debate is nobody forgets to use a condom. Nobody forgets to use a condom. Either you wanted to, or you were okay with the risks of that come with sex without using one. Those are the two. Unless you're on the stealthing end, which we talked about in our Patreon content. If you are a Patreon subscriber. Make decisions based on when and who you want to use a condom with and be responsible for the aftermath.
That's scary. Being responsible for the aftermath. Ooh.
But that's why and how you should make those decisions.
Is so much more important.
You make those decisions beforehand. You make those conversations happen beforehand so that in the aftermath you can be like, well, I did A, B, C, and D. I did go to the thing and let all the things do the things to me, and now I done got the thing. Well, what conversations were you having? Were you having these conversations with yourself and saying, okay, I want to go down here and do the things, but do I really want to do the time for the crime? Yes or no? Having these honest conversations with yourself and with your sexual partners is extremely important. I think some people deserve to have this conversation. Well, everyone deserves to have this conversation, but everyone is not going to be emotionally advanced enough to have this conversation, and you, our listeners, have to be the one to start these conversations because everyone is not going to have
Protect yourself.
You have to first start with protecting yourself. Just like if you're in an airplane emergency, you got to put the mask on yourself. But after you put the mask on yourself, see if you can put the mask on somebody else. But starting having these conversations is not just helping you, it's helping the community because someone is going to be exposed to you saying, okay, we're going to have sex, but we're going to have sex how? And if this happened, what we going to do?
Knowing that's sexy.
Yeah.
Knowing that there's options is sexy.
So I think that we can start that conversation here. We can start that habit here. They say that it takes you 3 months to get a habit into full rotation.
21 days to develop a habit. That's what Beyonce said with her vegan book. 21 days. I'm like, Beyonce, I don't know. I know that you're gonna give us lifetime tickets to your concert and JB. Who is JB? Raz B. Wow. Jay-Z. Beyonce, look, I can't do it.
Wow.
21
You
days.
mixed Jay-Z and Raz B for a Beyonce concert. Okay, we are getting to the end of this podcast. Everybody cannot be in your bloodline is the simple takeaway for that.
Yeah.
So even if nothing that I said over the last 5 minutes resonated as much as it should, just go with that Ariana lyric if that's it.
I don't want
because being in my bloodline means
I have
a
to
lot.
remember who gave me chlamydia. Ooh, I don't like that.
That is this week's sexual health from the Sexperts Casting Couch.
This week, the song for my soul, I just have to confess that I've gone back to Van Jess, V as in Victor, ANJESS. They, Addicted was the song for my soul a few weeks ago, but the full album, Silk Canvas, is still in heavy rotation at my house. I got through my Luther last week. I did. I listened to my Luther and I got through it. And I went back to what I was used to. I had to have Control Me, Honey Wheat, Addicted, Touch the Floor, Cool Off the Rain interlude. It just does something to me when I listen to it. I think because it's not a full song, I'm more invested into Cool Off the Rain. But shout out to Through Enough and Another Lover. I feel like some of these songs could be like sitcom theme songs, like Another Lover, and definitely Touch the Floor could be talk show theme songs.
Okay.
I know. I'm seriously invested into Van Jess. They're also signed to the same label as Normani. So I'm just hoping that I know they're not going to get the Normani dollars or attention, but they've been putting out videos, probably self-sponsored, but Van Jess, I hope they get a second album because they deserve it. I am in love with Van Jess, their album Silk Canvas.
Dope. So, my song for my soul this week might get us canceled. It might get us arrested. And it is more than likely going to get some hate mail or unfollowers.
Is it about R. Kelly?
It is not.
Are you like, what else we got? It's not about Michael Jackson.
No.
Okay, so who gonna get us?
Fuck the police.
Hey!
Coming straight from the underground, a young nigga got it bad because I'm brown and not the other color, so police think they have the authority to kill a minority.
Come on now.
Fuck that shit. Because I ain't the one for a punk motherfucker with a badge and a gun. To be beaten on and thrown in jail, we can go toe-to-toe in the middle of a cell. Fuck with me because I'm a teenager with a little bit of gold and a pager. Searching my car looking for a product, thinking every nigga is selling narcotics. Just because I'm from the DET, punk police are afraid of me. A young nigga on the warpath, and when I'm finished, it's gonna be a bloodbath. Yo, Dre, I got something to say. Fuck the police.
And now he a billionaire. Dr. Dre.
Buying his
Fuck the police.
Buying his daughter way into college. That's another subject for another day. Fuck the Police by the NWA was a movement and a mood in 1988. And it is the song for my soul this week because still, fuck the police still. What we are seeing evidenced in gun laws in this country, what we're seeing evidenced in the Jussie Smollett case, the police have not changed. They've only become a bigger institution with a fraternity protecting them of other police officers that are no longer serving, that are pretending that they are the lobby for police officers that should not have a lobby. Fuck the Police was also one of the best moments in Us. If you have not seen Us yet.
Was. Spoiler alert.
It was in Us, and again we had other late 80s, early 90s Cali.
Nostalgic.
Cali, the nostalgic Cali rap, and the minute that "Fuck the Police" played, I had the most enjoyment. I had the most enjoyment. Young Miss was like, "Call the police," and
No.
it wasn't Surrey.
Fuck the-
It's not Surrey.
Ophelia.
Ophelia said,
Ophelia called the police. Ophelia said,
"Fuck
"Now
the
playing-
police."
Now playing "Fuck the Police."
And so I am also highly inspired because the same police department that assassinated Fred
There you
Hampton
go.
has slandered and possibly framed Jussie Smollett for things that has happened with that case, and it is evidenced by them trying to say that he struck a deal over his bond. Basically telling him that they could keep his bond. I think his bond was $10,000 or $15,000.
$10,000. Girl.
$10,000 does not buy
$10,000
that.
does not, no.
That does not buy
No.
getting off free from. I think he had 16 felony accounts. $10,000 does not buy that.
No, man.
That's not.
No, that's not how finance works.
So I don't trust them. Furthermore,
You can't trust
they're
them, you
still
can't trust
fucking lying. Fuck the police. Song for my soul.
them. What are you here for this week?
I am absolutely not here for something this week. I have not been here for something for a long while, and Mercury's in retrograde, so I feel
Vindicated.
I'm in line to not be here for something this week. But I'm not going to be not here for it the way that I have typically not been here for it.
Okay.
Kim Burrell,
Bye.
you are no longer Yolanda Adams.
Me, who she was? Oh, no.
No.
Yolanda
I have
Adams?
context. So in the same way
Don't
that she
include it.
tried to compare
Well, you don't compete.
Fantasia to Leandria Johnson,
The girl who just on Fix My Life last week.
there is no comparison there. So just like you making comparisons, I get to make a comparison.
Huh?
Yolanda Adams is 2 seats down from you in the same show, has won more Grammys, has signed more contracts, has sold more hearts, has been on
Gets
more
more phone
award
calls.
shows, just full on
Considered.
better artists, more
For your
songs.
consideration.
Yolanda Adams is far better, has more range than Kim Burrell. Like, who are you to be comparing girls?
With the wrong cut, she was like, well, they said that Fantasia was going to do the Aretha pick. I just feel like Fantasia don't have the same color of her life like Leandria does. Ma'am, neither was up for the role.
Nobody called Leandria for shit. Leandria called Iyanla.
I took 2 bars off just to laugh.
So
What?
I don't. But I'm done. So I say that I'm not here for it this week, but I'm not here for it in a different way because typically when I'm not here for it, I'm gonna go in on it. But I'm not gonna do that for Kim Burrell's crusty ass at this moment because I know that after all of this hate that she has sown back into the world while pretending to be a pastor and be pretending to be a representative of God, that God is gonna read her ass way more than I could have ever dreamed of reading Kim Burrell. And so that's why I'm not going to give her that fucking much this month.
And to berate two influential black women in her rant, it's like, what?
I'm not here for it.
I'm not here for it. I'm not, this not.
And I
even
mean
mine.
that pronoun, it.
I'm
not here for it.
That's not even mine, but I'm not here for it.
That's the pronoun. Of it.
Okay, I gotta pull up my notes. Let's see. Here for it. The film Torch Song Trilogy came out in 1988, and I just discovered it on Instagram. Earlier, I showed you the video of actor Harvey Fierstein. What? Big words. Who was having a critical conversation with his mother about his life as a gay man. He asked her certain things, and she says, "Hey, can we not talk about that?" And he tells her, "No, if you don't want me to cut you out of my life, you have to accept every aspect of me in my being." And so the film was nominated for Best Picture and Best Male Lead at the 1989 Spirit Film Awards, the Independent Film Awards, because it was, of course, there wasn't nobody in 1980. Lionsgate, Universal wasn't calling the girls for the, so it was an independent film around the same time that Paris is Burning came out. So Paris is Burning was more documentary, and Torch Song Trilogy was more narrative. But around the same time, in their prospective venues, they were nominated for awards and out here for the categories. So shout out to actor Harvey Fierstein and Chap Susceptible and finna do Last Call. And shout out to Torch Song Trilogy, which has also been a play on Broadway because it slayed so heavily in 1988, nominated for the awards in 1989, and turned around in 1998 and was on Broadway.
Oh, word.
I am absolutely here for that. We have got to have these conversations with our parents. Ma'am, you either want me to vaguely cut you out of my life or include you in my life and I tell you everything. Because if we just brunch buddies and I got a fake, bye. I don't have time to manicure this relationship.
Yeah, I think it's important to have those conversations. But be careful with ultimatums with people from these generations. Because with these ultimatums, you don't know if you are ready to get that response. Because I know my parental unit is from the 50s. And so an ultimatum with a young lady from the 50s is going to be different than an ultimatum from a young lady from the 80s or from the 90s. So be prepared before you give those ultimatums and decide whether you even want to give those ultimatums.
But the conversations are important.
Yeah, I'm not saying the conversations are important. Definitely, I encourage the conversations. I caution the ultimatums. Because the ultimatums, you may not be ready for the repercussions, but they might be. They might be like, oh, I ain't got to talk to my gay ass son. If you're going to be a gay, you're going to be a faggot, going over there. And that's fine. But that is a reality. So be careful because you may want to live this life where you still talk to him or her.
Yeah, we need our parents.
Yeah.
It's time for last call.
It is time for last call. So this is our favorite moment of the show. If you have a shot prepared.
I would prefer to be sober.
Apparently not. If you have a shot prepared, make sure you take a shot with us. It is our last call.
Uno, dos, shout out to Jose Cuervo. If you know an LGBT brand that should be involved with us that does alcohol things, tag them, tag us, so they know that we are out here. My last call this week goes to Queerty Blog. In their post, 8 LGBT artists who deserve some love from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Because Janet Jackson's getting her things finally. And so Queerty Blog was like, well, who are some LGBT artists? And so they selected in the black and brown category Billy Preston, Joan Armstrong, and Luther Vandross. And I wholeheartedly agree that anybody who is black and brown will always deserve a spot in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I know that y'all are pushing for Jennifer Lopez.
No.
And she don't even write all her things. LL Cool J was recently nominated and received his things. He could just lick his lips. I'm like, yep, he deserves...
Objectification of men.
Well, he deserves my debit card number. I was going to give him my debit card number. It only got 10...
Cool J, he don't need your debit card number. Shit.
But shout out to all of the black and brown LGBT artists who also deserve the same push that the LGBT community has been giving Janet Jackson. And we've been pushing for her for years, and she only pushed one child out in 50 years. So,
I'm pushing for her to get a new wig. That way she
got a new wig for the Metamorphosis.
I know I want a new one. Another.
It look heavy. It do look heavy on her scalp. I'm like, it look too heavy for you. But shout out to all the black and brown artists who deserve their recognition from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because I'm sure those 3 persons aren't the only 3.
My last call this week is to the great, the incomparable, the
Beyonce.
American treasure that is Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama's book is on track to becoming. See what I did there? Becoming is on track to becoming the best-selling memoir of all time.
Yes. And imagine when Obama come out with his. That was the plan.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. It's hers and then his. And when he come out with his,
Pussy.
and she's doing a global tour off Becoming Michelle Obama.
And they are mad about it.
Baby.
Mad about it. This makes her, it moved up her power ranking in the most powerful first ladies to the top 3 with Hillary Rodham Clinton being number 1, Barbara Bush being number 2, Michelle Obama being number 3 in a couple different polls.
Wow.
So for her,
It was a great book.
yeah, for her to have made so many strides while her husband was no longer in the White House, while she was no longer first lady, I still see a bright future for her.
They got a Netflix deal, or it was rumored that they got one.
Yeah, it was rumored because there was a lot of money involved, but I don't think they actually
Yet.
went through with it. But I see more. I do not want this to be the last of Michelle Obama. I want you to represent Chicago in a way that the police department there is not. And I see a Senate run and a presidential run in your future. I speak it into the universe. That is my last call this week.
Thank you guys so much for listening to Here For It Podcast. Follow the show on the internet, hereforitpod.com. Of course, subscribe to us on Patreon if you can give a donation. There's exclusive audio, exclusive video, exclusive
Content.
pictures, exclusive things. You're just not going to get them anywhere else. So shout out to patreon.com/hereforitpod. Get our merch at hereforitshop.com. And my name is Ronald Matters. Ronald Matters. Follow me on the internet at Ronald Matters, and of course RonaldMatters.com.
I am the Superman, TheSupaman. And you can always find me in Avarex Apparel.
Oh, Pele.
Yeah.
Very nostalgic.
In Nietzsche. You can find me in that. Take your Truvada, kids. Bye.
Bye.